Everyone thought that Mercedes would bring a very different car to pre-season testing in Bahrain this year after having so many problems with the W13 in 2022.
You can see the sort of high shouldered area and the zero pods, the side pods really tucked in tight here.
Many fans were surprised that the W14 didn't look all that different from the W13, which had a lot of trouble with porpoising and wasn't very fast overall.
How was your evening?
Well, one of the worst days in racing.
But after the terrible first Grand Prix in Bahrain, Mercedes is facing huge issues.
Anything that was in the wind tunnel, we need it tomorrow. We've really got to push massively to try and close that gap.
I think both of us, we were on the back foot and you feel a little bit hopeless.
More on that later, but before we get into the video, we'd like to let you know that we're doing a giveaway when we reach 1,000 subscribers. It's going to be a $100 gift card to the Formula One store online. To enter, you just need to subscribe and comment on each video until we reach 1,000 subscribers. Now, let's get on with the video. Mercedes stuck to their guns and kept their unique zero side pod design after a wild 2022 season. During the Sakir weekend, however, they trailed Red Bull, Ferrari and Aston Martin.
Just unfortunately, the car is just not there at the moment and we're just lacking downforce, so we just got to work really hard to try and add that ASAP.
Mercedes had a bad day, but Aston Martin's unexpected rise overshadowed it.
We didn't expect to be in the podium, to be honest, in 2023.
Mercedes is finally seeing how far behind it has fallen in the last year. Hamilton was 8th at the end of FP2, trailing drivers from Aston Martin, Red Bull Racing, Ferrari, Haas and Alpine. George Russell didn't even make the top 10, so he had to settle for 13th place. Despite being only 0.63 seconds behind the leader, which was about a tenth faster than in FP2 in Bahrain last year, Hamilton was most concerned about his long-run speed, which trailed both Alonso and Verstappen. Even though the Silver Arrows appear to be bouncing less than they did last year, the W14 continues to struggle with speed and balance.
Lewis Hamilton only 7th fastest, and that's disappointment.
Lewis Hamilton and George Russell qualified 6th and 7th for the Bahrain Grand Prix, disappointing their fans.
Oh, a Ferrari! Oh no! There's a Ferrari going very slowly and it's Charles Leclerc. What's happened?
No, come on. No power.
After Charles Leclerc dropped out, Hamilton finished 5th and George Russell finished 7th. The W14 didn't appear to be able to compete with Red Bull, Ferrari or even Aston Martin. Mercedes fans are frustrated that the team has made little progress since the 2022 season. They're now blaming Mike Elliott, the team's technical director. Elliott would have had to decide whether to stick with the zero side pod design this season, despite Red Bull and Ferrari demonstrating that it was not the best way to go with the new rules.
It's been amazing to sort of watch the efforts both in Brackley and in Brixworth that's gone into this car to try and get the design that we've got to, and let's hope it's a good one.
Since the Bahrain Grand Prix, Mercedes fans have sent out hundreds of tweets demanding Elliott's dismissal because the team hasn't performed well enough this season.
The Aston Martin is very fast, they deserve that, and the good news for us is there is a lot of Mercedes in there.
Mercedes sells engines to Aston Martin, so the fact that the team improved from 7th place last season to being faster than the Silver Arrows due to the way their cars were designed will be a real kick in Elliott's gut. Mercedes made mistakes with the design of the not good enough W14 car, according to Toto Wolff, and promised a change of focus. I don't think this package is going to be competitive eventually, Wolff told media. We gave it our best go over the winter, and now we just need to all regroup, sit down with the engineers, and decide what is the development direction that we want to pursue in order to be competitive to win races. I'm sure we can win races this season, but it's really the mid and long term that we need to look at and which decisions we need to take. The moment comes when the stopwatch comes out, and that showed us that's simply not good enough.
On the basis of if it looks right, it usually is right. I'm sorry to say that because there's a mechanic listening to me there, but I don't think it's right.
Now, Wolff added that Mercedes would look into a variety of options in order to assess the correct development path, including a move away from their zero side pod approach.
He finds himself alongside Michael Schumacher as top in the record books. Lewis Hamilton is a 7-time champion of the world.
Another issue that Mercedes is dealing with is the potential future of their star driver and sporting legend, Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton finished 51 seconds behind the winner, Max Verstappen, on Sunday. The contract of the 7-time world champion expires at the end of the season, and speculation is rife that he may refuse to sign a new deal if Mercedes fails to reverse their slump. When asked if the Silver Arrows will implement a backup plan if Hamilton doesn't agree to an extension, Wolff responded, "There is no point talking about the driver situation for 2024. That's far too early. We have to all push in the same direction, the drivers, engineers and management, rather than throwing in the towel. We have never done that and we will not do that now." Hamilton stated in the days leading up to the Bahrain Grand Prix that he would only leave Mercedes if something terrible happened. However, his comments came before he took to the track, and the race revealed how bad things are for his team. Mercedes has fallen even further behind Red Bull, which finished first and second on Sunday. Aston Martin, which has made significant progress over the winter, has also passed them. This week, Wolff will hold crucial meetings with his Mercedes team to determine how the once dominant team can reclaim its former glory.
I know we're not where we want to be, but let's keep pushing. We've got some serious work to do to close the gap. But I believe in you all, so let's keep going for it.
Wolff responded to Lewis's comments by saying that Mercedes and Hamilton have a strong relationship, having won 8 Constructors and 6 Drivers' Championships with him at the wheel. So, what is the solution? What can Mercedes do to improve? Well, they might find the solution in the unexpected place. Aston Martin defeated Mercedes in both the qualifying round and the race in Bahrain, and the AMR23 employs the Mercedes power unit, gearbox, hydraulics and rear suspension. This means that both teams rely on the same back end. Aston Martin also uses the Mercedes F1 wind tunnel while it awaits the completion of its new cutting-edge facility next year. This doesn't imply that Mercedes will simply copy the Aston Martin, nor will it imply that they will share any information about aerodynamic design, which is illegal. Aston Martin debuted a car with a lot of bouncing and porpoising last year. A major update to the side pods in May changed the car's direction, similar to Mercedes. Half of their car is ours, and they do their aerodynamics in our wind tunnel, so we have some work to do, Lewis Hamilton said after the Bahrain Grand Prix. As a result, Mercedes should pay close attention to what Aston Martin is doing to see if there are any lessons to be learned. It will do the same with the other 8 cars on the grid because it wants to find the right idea that will provide it with better performance right away, as well as more room to grow in the long run. Now, according to Wolff, Red Bull's deficit is now twice or 3 times what it was at the end of last season. As a result, Mercedes is thinking about changing the way it develops cars in order to get more performance out of them. Wolff stated that recovery efforts would begin in the coming days. However, he did state that other ideas were already being considered due to concerns about how competitive the car would be over the winter. All teams do this, and Mercedes is known to have tried out a side pod geometry more akin to Red Bull's in CFD and the wind tunnel, but without obtaining the numbers required to make a change. However, it's likely that the team has already put in more effort to investigate these possibilities. This could propel it to join the growing list of companies founded on the Red Bull concept. After Alonso finished third, Sergio Perez joked that it was nice to see 3 Red Bull cars on the podium. It's clear that the planned Imola upgrade, which the team claims will change the car's appearance, but which technical director Mike Elliott insists will still go in the Mercedes direction, will not be enough.
It's 7 consecutive Constructors' Championships for Mercedes. They win here in Imola.
Mercedes dominated for years by brute forcing the design. They had the best engine, the biggest budget, and developed the aero package with a focus on peak downforce. Red Bull had a better, more intricate aero package than Ferrari, but they lacked power and couldn't catch Mercedes. The remaining teams had less than half the budget of the top 3 teams, putting them out of contention. Now that the cost cap has resulted in limited resources, new regulations appear to favour intricate design over the peak downforce philosophy. This cost cap is now benefiting teams that previously relied on driver talent rather than sheer workforce numbers. So, do you have any thoughts on Mercedes' performance at the Bahrain Grand Prix? The Saudi Arabia Grand Prix is in 2 weeks. Could they bounce back from a disappointing Bahrain race in that time? What do you think? Tell us in the comment section and we'll see you in the next video.